Hey, the Berry is bringing something a little bit different than my usual content. Recently, there was a game between G2 and Mad. It's a best of 5 series, and this is game number 1. If you guys like this and want me to do more kind of content like this, then I will continue to do so. But the plan here is to kind of look at both teams from a support's perspective and how we can take some of the things that are happening in pro games into our solo queue games. Now, I haven't actually seen this game. I think the last time watching the LEC game was probably at least a few years ago. So this is going to be an interesting experience as someone who plays reasonably high in solo queue and seeing if there's anything in pro play that we can maybe take over into the solo queue. So very strange team composition on the left. You got Hans on the Callista and then Mickey on the Lissandra. So that's for G2, and then Mad has an Ezreal Rakan. Very two different team compositions there, because you got a hard engage-esque kind of bot lane on the G2 side, and on the Mad side with the Ezra and Rakan, you got a lot of escape, a lot of movement there to get out of a lot of different situations, but your general 2v2 power there is pretty bad. Both AD carries running Cleanse and both supports running Ignite. So the Sandra support is something I've never seen before. I can see the safety that the Lissandra has in particular. She can kind of go in, she can ult herself, and then if needed, Callista can also ult the Lissandra to kind of get her out. So kind of double invulnerability there on the G2 bot lane. So it'd be interesting to see kind of what actually happens there, how much Lissandra's able to do in terms of presence in the bot lane as well, because you know, early on, like level 1, I don't think Lissandra can do a huge amount. Her Q range is shorter. She has to kind of use the Q to poke the minions here in order to extend her Q range. A lot of action going on the mid lane. Azir having trouble there too. Also, I can imagine like Lissandra could end up like roaming over to like mid lane here as well, with the kind of the claw. I can't remember what button that's even on. Like, I haven't seen Lissandra for such a long time. But yeah, I would love to see what's going on in the bot lane right now. There's both junglers playing onto the bot side here too. But as you can see here, like the level 1 of Lissandra isn't great, and I would have expected them to maybe trade it back harder here from Mad. Maybe, I don't know if they were able to do wards in the bot lane, but I'm assuming because of pro play they probably had to put their wards somewhere else. But I feel like there's trading opportunity being missed here from Mad in terms of like Lissandra can't do anything level 1. She's overextending a lot there. I feel like yeah, even like the Airstore should be able to get decent chunk trades there. So I'm not sure why even Lissandra's even been able to get priority there on level 1. Bit of a jungle invade here. Rakan kind of showing his face here, but with the amount that bot lane's already pushed in, I don't think Rakan can actually help defend the jungle here. I think they kind of have to give it up, because look at how much CS there is under the bot lane turret already. The Ezra and Rakan need to clean it up. So I think it's a bit of a mistake from Mad's bot lane in terms of allowing this to even happen anyway. As we mentioned, that Lissandra level 1 shouldn't be as dominant as this, and that's going to leave mid lane vulnerable too to a gank. You got Lissandra that's probably going to come over here with a claw, and then no root, I'd imagine, unless it's a flash root. It's a flash root. It's a flash root. Yeah, very nice frame play. I'm surprised that mid laner wasn't reading that play. That's going to be the Lissandra going down though. So actually, in the end, it's not like it's first blood for, oh god, what's going on here? That is terrible. So yeah, it's first blood for the for G2, but the trade kill on Lissandra's, as I was gonna say, they're gonna leave Callista open up for a 2v1, and should give bot lane some priority here. Now they can basically try and set up a massive wave here, and then let that just go into the wave, into the tower, and then recall from that. Rakan has seen that Callista's recalled, so they need to push in this lane now as quickly as possible. Minion dematerialize using the cannon minion, which is going to be really handy in terms of pushing this wave in as quickly as possible. Like, Rakan could probably just W onto these minions here and then E back quickly. I don't think there's much here that Mickey can do in terms of stopping that, so it would be a bit quicker doing that way. Ez just needs to go back straight away and recall. There's no point even looking for a Q trade there. So yeah, so bot lane is going to get a decent recall here in terms of reset timings. Lissandra has no flash, so Rakan might be able to do something in terms of an engage. They might be able to just go full on here onto the Lissandra before these ultimates kick in. Once the Callista hits 6, once Lissandra hits 6, it's going to be really, really difficult for them to actually get any kills down the bot side, and the priority is just going to completely shift. So if if the Mad bot lane wants to do anything, and it kind of looks like they have to be the ones to get ahead here, because the mid and top aren't doing very well, then it's kind of like seemingly like the only opportunity. Lissandra gets away there with the claw. Let's kind of see the safety net there with that Lissandra. I mean, the roam into mid was okay, but I'm sure we'll probably see more of the power of the Lissandra at level 6 onwards, because at the moment it doesn't seem to be that fantastic. Rakan's dash gets interrupted by Lissandra route, which is pretty interesting. Kind of like awkward trading and stuff here. I feel like not a lot is being really achieved here by being aggressive around the chickens. I think it's getting too deep at that point. Azir apparently needed a recall as well, so there's really no point flying over KFC then. Ezreal will probably lose to Kalista in a 1v1 trade, but I think in the 2v2 I think they just win because of the Rakan extra kind of utility that he provides here with the sustain on healing, which is quite significant actually with the Q this early on. And if he can land a really good knockup, I think they just go for Lissandra. I think they just have to go for Lissandra. If Lissandra's quick, she might be able to claw back. But here is Maokai coming down. They're going to get spotted here with the ward that's in the river. So they're going to be aware that Maokai's playing bot. And honestly, this is probably the best thing that G2 can probably do, is have their jungler come down bot side, because they're winning mid and they're winning top. So the only lane that could be a threat at the moment in early game is their bot lane. So Maokai putting a lot of pressure down here in terms of making it difficult for their bot lane, Mad's bot lane, in order to actually get that kind of advantage before the Kalista hits 6 and Lissandra hits 6, because the timings are coming in quite soon. Kalista's been 5 for a decent chunk of time. Lissandra will be 6 a little bit later on because of the roaming. So if they are going to get something going down the bot side, it kind of needs to be happening soon. Lissandra goes in, roots the Ezreal. Ezreal just arcane shifts out, and you can kind of see the safety there. In terms of like, it's going to be really difficult for them to actually catch them out without like a Lissandra ult. Like, you kind of need the stun in order to make anything work there. Little shuffle there coming into the mid lane. Looks like Tristana. Ooh, flash burn there from Azir, but I don't think Azir can do anything here to necessarily trade back. I think it's two very vulnerable mid laners, and both bot lane supports aren't able to actually rotate there, as they are basically what G2's bot lane is doing. They're pushing it in hard again to get jungle advantage. So the Maokai is now doing the dragon. Lissandra and the Kalista are pushing in the bot lane quite a lot. So that's the dragon down, and now Maokai is able to pressure bot because Sejuani's top, and that's going to leave their bot lane into a massive disadvantage. Lissandra goes in with the root. I think they should have probably read that situation quicker. They had the control ward in the brush there already, and they had known that Maokai was doing dragon. I think at that point you just get out. Like, you can't do anything there. It really sucks. I would probably argue that Mad probably should have played bot side sooner, before the level 6s. Otherwise, like, at this stage now, their bot lane can't really do anything, just because of the absolute burst pressure, stun lock pressure that can happen, even though the arcane shift could come in time. Yeah, it's going to be really, really difficult. Ezra has no cleanse, so next time, you know, another level 6 situation happens with, say, Lissandra hits 6, depending on how close she is, it could be devastating here for Ez. They can even still lock down Rakan and probably kill him relatively quickly. They kind of need to get ahead between like level 1 and level 5 really in the bot lane, which was possible. Lissandra's weaker. I don't know why their bot lane, Mad's bot lane, gave Lissandra priority. There was no need to do so. But yeah, so now their support, G2 support, is now free to roam up. Ezreal does not want to be in a 1v1 to a Kalista. So that's already like a losing kind of lane there too. And then we have Rakan having to look to roam on the map too to keep up because of the Lissandra pressure. So I mean, really, Rakan's got two options here. He either roams or he has to look to punishing down bot lane. I think at this point they're already losing massively around the map. The best bet, honestly, is really trying to punish the Kalista by herself bot. But that was a decent shuffle there from Azir. Rakan was kind of near enough to try and follow up, but the Lissandra route actually denies the dash, and I've never seen that before. In terms of, I know you can deny like Rakan's dash, but I've never seen like a Lissandra route be the primary reason to stop the Rakan from dashing in, and Mickey's been doing a really good job on those routes. Looks like Lissandra's been a little bit caught out here though. 20% HP there. Shuffle goes back and brings back the Maokai back over. Rakan down in the queue, doing a double dash to get all the way out of the backline there, but Azir's going to go down. Ezra doesn't have priority in bot lane because he doesn't beat the Kalista in the 1v1, and it's just a really awkward situation on the map where Honestly, it feels like they have no control here whatsoever, and the game looks already done. 3k gold deficit already makes everything look super awkward. Turret plate's not going down mid because Azir's dead. Now it brings back into pressure into bot lane because like Mickey probably has to recall of the healing because the low health, because the bot lane already got pushed in. There's probably a time window where G2 could probably recall anyway and then not really lose much from it. I think at this point G2's bot lane just has to play for Lissandra to eventually hit level 6 and then maybe do a catch play off of that, honestly. Yeah, so Lissandra's gone back into bot side. I think Lissandra, like Mickey's just realized that I kind of need level 6, really. I'm losing a little bit too much XP here. I'm sure Rakan's probably feeling the same. I'm not sure if he's level 6 yet. He's probably close to it as well. But yeah, their best bet is beating this bot lane 2v2 before Lissandra hits level 6. And now the jungle's here. Mickey just hit 6 at the worst possible time. And Rakan died extremely quickly there too. That is a complete disaster. Mickey looks like... No, the stopwatch! Wow, stopwatch outplay. Really, really nice there. Just everything on the timings that were just there for G2. The Mickey hitting 6 at the perfect time, the stopwatch, the perfect time stopwatch, and the turret denying at least one kind of kill back. But that kind of thing needed to happen way sooner into the lane. The Sejuani should have been bot side sooner. I don't like it when junglers try and salvage when the top lane's already behind, right? So when there's a lane that could potentially get ahead and snowball, which is the bot lane, I think like just giving that up so quickly, I think was probably a mistake in my opinion. So what does like Mad do in order to get back into this game is a 6,000 gold deficit at 11 minutes. If this was League, this would be like someone would be AFK in Fountain right now. I'm sure they probably want to AFK in Fountain right now and just go next, honestly. But yeah, you can see like the safety of Lissandra. If she does kind of get caught, she generally can get away because of the duration of the claw lasts quite a long time. Rakan super deep getting ward sealed by himself, but I don't see the benefit of getting wards that deep into the jungle. Like you're not going to be able to invade anytime soon. Like you're in such a massive deficit. At this point, you're just waiting for the enemy team to make a mistake. Putting a ward there at that, I don't think does anything, and they cleaned it out anyway. But I don't think that gives you anything here. There's a dragon that people want to fight over, but I think honestly, Mad just gives this up. That everyone on their team is just stronger. You kind of need to find a pick at this point, which I think they're trying to do on top lane right now. Cassante is kind of going into a 2v1. This is what you want to do when you're behind. Give away an objective on the map and get a kill for it, and then try and get some sort of CS advantage back here. So this here, Sejuani ganking top, is the best play. Dragon's up. G2 are going to want to go for the dragon. So this is like the only opportunity here for Mad to kind of get something from the game. Do they get anything here? Looks like Cassante will go down. Or will he? Oh no. Never mind. Lol JK. Yeah, the deficit is just too much. I think as soon as Jax died, I think when you're in these pro games, the error margin is like so fine. Like if you die as Jax did earlier, oh my god, it's gonna be a double. That's disgusting. Yeah, if you die hit at that early point into the game, yeah, it's going to be really, really tough. I think at this point it is just game over. That was their one opportunity to maybe claw back some money. Maokai might die here though. He's going to be really squishy. Tristana jumping in to try and salvage something. He's got E on the Azir. Azir does go down, so it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade. But in return, it ends up they lose their jungle. But Mad loses their jungle, so it ends up into a massive advantage here for G2. Mickey's now eyeing up Hillsong. W goes in, but it's too early, and it just means that the Rakan gets locked up because he has no easy way to get out. I think a little bit of BM there from Rakan. Understanding, like, you know, there's not much that he can... I think the Rakan's just giving up there. Like, I think that's just like a classic solo queue int situation where you kind of trying to, I don't know, because he doesn't get anything there. The knock up, there's already minions under the turret. The minions already hitting, the turret's already hitting the minions. So knocking up the Lissandra gives nothing when there's nobody nearby. So it's just like a BM knock up. It's just a waste of cooldown at the point. Yeah, what happened top was disgusting. Well played, Broken Blade. I still don't really know what Cassante does, if I'm completely honest. Does anyone? Probably not. So yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how you would even coach your team to get out of this one. 8,000 gold behind. So G2 have been ahead since the very beginning of the game. 2,000 gold swing on 80 carries. I mean, Maokai is pretty squishy on their team, and if he commits, he's going to be like the only one vulnerable. And just thinking like what Rakan has to do here. Rakan has to engage in it. He can't be the main engage, okay? So he can't be the first one going in. I think he has to kind of wait for Azir. Azir's been doing some good shuffles. So Azir would have to go in, do a shuffle. Rakan needs to come in from the flank and kind of CC up. Rakan can't do this because he's too squishy. So I think that's literally as I'm saying it. Like, Rakan literally can't do that. When you're far behind on Rakan, he is actually one of the squishiest, if not the squishiest, engage supports. That is just, you have to wait for a play to happen. So you have to wait for like a shuffle or a Sejuani ulti, and then be the secondary follow-up when you're that far behind. Decent-ish shuffle there. The Sandra does die, so it's something from not really anything. The Sejuani ulti lands over onto the Maokai. Maokai actually goes quite low. Ezra W misses. Arcane shot also misses. That Mystic shot misses there too. So it looked like maybe there was potentially a chance for Maokai to go down there, but yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like, you know, I think Mad are just going to get drained here. I don't see them winning this game. If Mad end up winning this game, the only way that they win from my eyes has to be a really good shuffle. And then Rakan comes in to overlap with crowd control with maybe like a Sejuani ulti flying over, prioritizing hitting maybe the Kalista or even the Tristana. Like, because you got the cleanse that you have to worry about at this point. So maybe hitting the Tristana would be better. And like even then, even if you don't win the fight, say if you get like 3 kills, you're still gonna get like 3 bounties. So, and then it's like you might lose a turret or 2 off of that, but I think that's literally best case situation now for Mad. So here you got both top laners with teleport on the bot side of the map. You got Baron spawning in 3 minutes time. There's a dragon in 1 minute though, so I don't know if it's necessarily the right play to have the Jax in the bot lane. I don't think they can play for Dragon unless... I mean, they might have to try and get that shuffle. I don't know if they're going to get another opportunity to get a shuffle. Azir is so deep here by himself with no vision at all. Rakan's kind of lurking behind because I think he's spotted the vulnerability of Azir being that far deep in the lane with no support at all. Could be absolutely devastating. Bot and mid waves are kind of defensive on their side, but this Azir is like encroaching further and further forward with no vision, and it's kind of scary when we got this massive deficit with honestly quite a decent amount of engage on the enemy team too. Like the Sandra catching off the Rakan again. Rakan is just trying to go for deep ward vision, but there is no priority in the river for them, and it's just another death. There's a lot of yeah, I don't know, like there's a lot of deaths here happening from Rakan. I think I'm aware that Hillerson is kind of this kind of like aggressive player and stuff. Sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't, but looks like Lissandra's going to go down there. Lissandra, I don't know actually if had ulti or not. I think they may have used it on Rakan, I'm not sure. Maokai ulti comes through. Ezreal ult hits nothing. And I think they just have to play disengage, and they get a one kill, but it's on Lissandra again, and she's not worth that much. She's one of the 2 people on G2's team that have no bounties. So it's like it's a kill, but it's that we need a bounty here for Mad to get back into this game. So it looks like Cassante is a little bit overextended there. Kazi goes low, but this Kalista, oh, she dips down to like 10% HP. If they actually catch the Kalista there, is absolutely massive for this fight. Rakan's trying to get in and try and catch something here. I think he's too far ahead. He can't get anything there. His whole team is on 10% HP. Rakan is in like no man's territory. Maokai might go down though, but the whole team I think will just fall over here. Flash force there from Rakan. If I was the Rakan, I think I would just die. Like, you need to have your flash now for any fight, right? I think using your flash there is kind of in, because there's no point saving your life at this point, right? Your whole team's dead anyway. You being alive isn't going to change anything in terms of defending your base. So you might as well just die, have your flash ready for the next team fight, and see if you can do something off of that. Tier 3 bot tower's now going down, and it's just been a landslide victory so far for G2. It's, what's it, 12, 13k gold lead. It's absolutely insane. Full control of the jungle. They're not going to be able to recoup any of the gold back. It's kind of disgusting, actually. Yeah, this team fight here is probably, it was quite promising. Callista ends up going down quite low. Jax jumps and lands a nice stun there onto Callista, forcing the cleanse, but it's a shame there's no follow-up. Like if Rakan is paying attention to where Jax is, ease over to get there and then W, might even force a flash, but both summons are down for the next team fight. I'm assuming Callista didn't have flash. She probably would have died. The positioning there of Rakan, I'm not sure why he was in the jungle side as opposed to playing with getting like the key target of Callista, really. Like if you can get Callista, that's like literally the money. And I think you just have to go for it. So the inhib's going to go down here. There's not much that botlane can do. Like Ezreal's got 2 items, but he still needs to scale up like crazy. And I think the game ends here. Herald's going to knock down this turret. Teleport coming back now. Rakan is at Baron. I don't know why Rakan is at Baron. Their base is literally falling down right now. And this is my first LEC game watching in about 3 or 4 years. And this is one of the biggest stomps I've ever seen. This is a best of 5. I'm not sure exactly who wins this series. But yeah, that was landslide. I think the bot lane of Mad really needed to identify, like, Lissandra really shouldn't have that priority level 1. There's no reason why Lissandra should be able to push back actually, I'm going to be blunt here. I think their bot lane lost the game, like, at the start. And it's really, really minor, but at this pro kind of stage, it's just like the minor things that come into it. You should not be giving Lissandra lane priority. Level 1, she just does the little stupid Q, and that's it. There was nothing else added to that at all. You have to kind of respect a little bit in terms of spear damage from Callista, but I don't know, like Lissandra seemed to have, like, she was all the way into Mad's brush on that side of the lane and getting to do 3 Qs with little to no punishment. And then it basically meant that because they pushed in this whole big wave under the turret, it meant that Maokai could invade, and it meant that the Mad bot lane couldn't help their jungler who was being invaded, and it just started to fall apart straight away from there. Because then it was a time ticking bomb in terms of bot lane. Because what are you going to do to Alessandra and Callista at level 6? You're not going to actually get a kill probably at all. So yeah, you have to kind of just kill that bot lane before they hit 6. Otherwise, it's just going to be an absolute nightmare to even look for a kill. Even though Ezreal, Rakan isn't the strongest to bot lane in order to get kills like that, I think there is still some like playability there around the Sandra, getting some chip damage onto her and then maybe collapsing onto that, forcing some summoners. Maybe working with a jungler, the Sejuani, in order to come down with that too. But I think a lot of that wouldn't have happened if they had that lane priority early on, that level 1, level 2. I think if it was slammed back in the middle of the lane there, then I think it would have been fine. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of video. If you guys want me to cover that game 2 and whatever game, the game 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever, let me know. I kind of enjoyed that, even though it was a complete stomp, and I hope you guys appreciate my commentary on things and my opinion on stuff as well. Bit of a ruffle stomp, but it happens in League, right? Apparently a lot in pro play, but yeah. Bye.